You know that feeling. When your career path feels less like a clearly marked road and more like you're, I don't know, bushwhacking through a jungle.
Oh, definitely. We've all been there, haven't we?
Totally. So today, we're hacking through some of that undergrowth. We're using the HBR Work Smart collection as our guide.
Think of it like the ultimate cheat sheet for feeling more comfortable, more effective, and importantly, genuinely you at work.
Exactly. And this isn't just surface level stuff, right?
No, we're digging into the core things that honestly impact everyone. We'll touch on um, 4 key areas from the collection.
Okay, what are they?
First, how to actually show up as your real self.
Hmm.
Then, how to build those really vital connections, bosses, colleagues, the whole network.
Right, relationships are huge.
Then, boundaries and priorities.
Mhm.
Trying to find that sliver of work-life balance. Maybe.
Huh, the eternal quest. And the last one.
And finally, how to actually take charge of your career's journey, experience, opportunity, development.
Okay, so our mission today is pretty simple then. We want to pull out the game-changing insights, those surprising facts, the aha moments from the collection.
Things that can genuinely shift how you think and how you navigate your daily work life.
We want to arm you with powerful knowledge, but, without burying you in information overload.
Right. So the goal is for you to leave feeling more empowered, maybe more understood, and definitely better equipped for the complexities of professional life.
All while staying true to yourself, that's key.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's dive right in. Let's tackle something that really underpins everything else. Being yourself at work. Authenticity.
Yeah, and this is a big one
Hmm.
because, well, early on, a lot of people, and this is often especially true for women, people of color, LGBTQ plus folks, other minority identities, they internalize this message
What message?
that they need to change somehow, adapt, become someone else almost, just be seen as valuable or, fitting in. We learn to shapeshift.
Right. And what we think others expect. But the HBR collection makes it really clear. Authenticity isn't about putting on some kind of perfect, polished front.
No, it's about honoring all the pieces that make you who you are. Your different identities, your core values, even your past experiences, the good and the bad.
The triumphs and the stumbles, yeah.
All contribute. We're not just, interchangeable parts.
And what I found fascinating was this proactive idea, the concept of consciously convincing yourself that you belong.
Mm-hmm. Especially when you're starting somewhere new. A new job, new team.
Yeah, it's like a blank slate, an opportunity to actually spotlight the parts of your background that genuinely connect with the role, that excite you.
And when you truly believe in your own value, that confidence, it's kind of contagious, isn't it?
Totally. But it's not just about broadcasting your resume, is it?
Yeah.
The collection talks about creating space for real connection.
Human connection, yeah. It emphasizes setting aside time, intentionally, for those meaningful conversations, silencing the noise.
And doing what they call deep listening, which sounds deep. What does that actually mean?
Well, it's more than just hearing the words, It's being fully present. Noticing the nonverbal stuff, posture, eye contact, tone.
Trying to get the feeling behind the words.
Exactly. Trying to understand the emotions. And here's a really golden tip they give. Repeat back what you think you heard.
To check you got it right.
Yeah, confirm your understanding before you jump in with your own stuff. Ask clarifying questions.
That makes sense. Because becoming authentically yourself, it's not like a switch you flip, is it?
No way. It's a journey. Lifelong, really.
Yeah.
It evolves as you learn more about yourself, as your values become clearer.
And maybe the biggest takeaway here is just self-acceptance.
Yeah.
Being okay with who you are.
The power of self-acceptance, yeah. Trusting that the right people will connect with the real you.
So the collection boils down showing up authentically into some actionable steps.
It does. First, actively make a list. Why do you belong? What's unique about your history, skills, values? Write it down.
Okay, list it out. What's second?
Second, find your voice. And think about the intention behind your communication. What are you actually trying to achieve when you share something?
That helps decide how and with whom to be open, right?
Precisely. Third, boundaries. Avoid that trap of oversharing everything. You can be real without spilling all the beans.
Okay, boundaries are crucial. And last.
And finally, practice that deep listening we talked about.
Yeah.
Use silence not just to plan your reply, but to actually absorb.
Yeah.
Be present.
Right. Okay. Shifting gears slightly, but still related, identifying your core values. The collection talks about this too.
Yeah, and it's surprising how many of us just kind of operate on autopilot without consciously defining what really drives us.
Even though these values secretly shape everything, our decisions, career, happiness.
Absolutely. So how do you figure them out? The starting point is introspection. Ask yourself some big questions.
Right.
What principles truly matter to me?
Yeah.
What do I stand for? Make a list. And here's the key part.
Yeah.
Make sure it reflects what resonates with you, not what your family or society or your boss thinks you should value.
Ah, that's a huge distinction. It's easy to get caught up in external expectations.
So easy. And once you have that list, the power comes from using it as a compass.
A compass? How so?
Well, if fairness is a core value for you, it guides how you give feedback, maybe how you advocate for things.
Okay.
If optimism is big for you, it shapes how you handle challenges.
Yeah.
If family is central, it influences big career choices like travel or hours.
It's like an internal GPS guiding you to choices that feel right, intrinsically right.
Exactly. And building on that self-knowledge, the collection talks about deeper connections at work, starting with a mindset shift.
Which is?
See everyone as human, not just their title, their function, but a fellow human being.
That immediately takes some pressure off, doesn't it?
It really does. And from there, you nurture relationships by genuinely listening, paying attention to their interests outside work, following up.
Small things, like remembering something they mentioned.
Yeah, finding something that reminds you of them.
Yeah.
Authentic engagement. But again, boundaries come back in.
Right. Vulnerability is good, but not overexposure.
Exactly. Be vulnerable, but be discerning. Invest your energy wisely in relationships that actually uplift you.
The collection shares a personal story here, right? About non-binary identity.
Yes, a really compelling one. Someone using clothing and haircuts for authentic self-expression, and how a hurtful transphobic comment made them realize just how deeply tied those outward things are to their core identity.
Wow. It really shows how something that seems superficial to one person can be incredibly meaningful to another.
Absolutely. And this leads into the role of self-disclosure in building trust, especially on diverse teams. The host even shares feeling uncomfortable sharing personal stuff in the past.
Yeah, I remember reading that and then realizing how vulnerability can actually build connection.
Right. It feels counterintuitive sometimes, doesn't it? We're often told to keep personal and professional separate.
Totally. Keep that wall up.
But the collection suggests that strategically disclosing parts of your identity, maybe invisible marginalized identities, mental health struggles, multiracial background, whatever it is. Yeah, it can actually be a catalyst for positive change in the organization.
How so? Like preventing problems?
Yeah, maybe preventing an offensive ad campaign because you offered perspective, shaping a more inclusive culture, influencing the language people use.
That's a powerful reframe. Disclosure not just as personal vulnerability, but as potential advocacy.
It is. But, and this is crucial, the decision is always the individual's. Comfort, safety, timing are key.
Maybe wait until after you've met them in person, got a feel for the place.
That's one suggestion, yeah. And they share great real-world examples. Sophia at Deloitte pushing for policy change, Owen Hayes planning with HR, Maeve Duvally mapping stakeholders, Raimi Zanuv using LinkedIn, Katie Duchak's company partnering in her transition.
Those show there are many ways to navigate it.
But it doesn't just stop at disclosure. The journey continues. There can still be challenges, like microaggressions, dead naming, misgendering.
And the collection stresses self-compassion when that happens.
Absolutely critical. And also managing that feeling of being in the spotlight, the emotional energy that constant awareness demands.
Right. It's not just about being seen. It's about navigating the world as your seen self. Okay, so we've covered authenticity. Let's shift to building great relationships, which can be tricky, especially with imposter syndrome.
Ugh, yes. That voice saying, how did I get here?
Great.
Or, am I really good enough? Especially after a promotion, right?
Totally. So what does the collection say? How do we dial down that inner critic?
Okay, a few key things. First, actively reframe those negative thoughts. Challenge them. Don't just accept them.
Okay, reframe. What else?
Second, reconnect with your purpose. Why are you doing this? What value do you bring? Remind yourself.
Got it. Purpose.
Third, get absolute clarity on expectations. What's actually required. Often less scary than what we imagine. And fourth, manage your energy. Self-care isn't optional.
Manage energy. Okay.
Yeah.
And there was something interesting about reframing mistakes even. Crying at work.
Yes. I found this fascinating. They cite research showing 44% of C-suite leaders think occasional crying is okay, and 30% say it has no negative effect professionally.
Wow. That really challenges the old stiff upper lip idea.
It does. Extend yourself the same compassion you'd give a colleague. We're human.
Okay, but what if your personality just clashes with the corporate culture? That pressure to conform must be exhausting.
Profoundly exhausting. They share an example of an MBA student told she seemed distant just because she wasn't comfortable being fully expressive in that specific environment.
Which leads to that dilemma: conform, change your hair, hide tattoos, or feel totally inauthentic.
Yeah, that tightrope walk. And the collection rightly points out the privilege involved in even having that choice.
Right. For some, it's a compromise. For others, it's about paying the bills. Not always a simple choice.
Not at all. And for people from underrepresented groups, there's the added layer of the model minority trap.
That pressure to assimilate, make others comfortable by downplaying who you are.
Exactly. The collection highlights the courage it takes to break free, sharing Min's story, a gay Vietnamese American professional who found strength by owning his full identity.
So, are there concrete tips for avoiding that trap?
Yes, be intentional, apply to companies that genuinely value diversity, build a strong support system, inside and outside work, and even mentally prep for potential negative reactions, sort of steeling yourself.
Okay. Proactive steps. Now, something common and frustrating: name mispronunciation, especially for people of color.
The collection is clear that this isn't you being oversensitive. Names are fundamental to identity. Everyone should make the effort.
And it offers ways to address it gently.
Yeah, gentle but firm options, asking clarifying questions like, sorry, did you just call me wrong name? Or being direct, my name is actually correct name, please use it.
Finding allies could help too, maybe. Or HR if it's persistent.
Absolutely. Allies, HR escalation if needed. And crucially, think about intent in these conversations, yours and theirs.
Aim for change, not just confrontation.
Exactly. Foster change. And finding allies in leadership who care about inclusion, that's powerful.
Yeah.
Especially if you frame it as benefiting the organization, morale, reputation.
Makes sense. The collection also touches on the blurry lines online, right? That LinkedIn post about different personas.
Yeah, the pressure to curate ourselves. Lots of comments resonated with feeling fragmented, like having a double social media life.
It raises questions about strategic sharing, considering privilege and safety.
Definitely. And it reminds us navigating relationships can feel overwhelming, especially early career, like Sarah's panic over a simple meeting request.
That story was so relatable. It underscores why building stronger connections upwards is important.
And not just for chit-chat. It's about visibility, value exchange, showing how you contribute while you learn.
So how do we have those career development talks with the boss effectively?
Be clear on the purpose when you request the meeting. Start with gratitude for their support. And critically, align your goals with the team's and the company's goals.
Alignment is key. Okay, flip side. Feeling swamped and needing to say no to the boss. Terrifying.
Yeah, it can be. First step, assess your actual bandwidth. Maybe track your time for a day or two.
Get the data.
Exactly. Then explain calmly, using that data if you can, and offer solutions. Can we reprioritize? Or could we look at this next week?
So, summary for saying no. Pause, be clear why, use data, offer alternatives.
You got it. And conversely, when your manager does support you, acknowledge it publicly. Be specific, genuine, grateful.
Okay, tricky one. Manager seems insecure, maybe even rivalrous.
The advice is subtle. Build their confidence. Value their expertise. Ask for their advice genuinely. Don't let their insecurity frustrate you. It often diffuses the rivalry.
Interesting. What about giving negative feedback to your manager? Even trickier.
Preparation is everything here. Be specific about the actions, not judgment. State your positive intention improving things. Say what change you need, why, and then negative impacts now.
Even be curious about their side.
Crucially, yes.
Yeah.
Ask their perspective. Make it a dialogue, not an accusation.
Okay, let's talk passive aggression. That stuff can poison a team. Saying one thing, doing another.
Veiled insults, negative body language, yeah. Often driven by fear of conflict, failure, rejection, or feeling powerless.
So how do we deal with it without making it worse?
Key thing, avoid labeling them passive-aggressive. That just escalates. Focus on the underlying message they might be struggling to say directly.
Try to create a safe space for them to be more direct.
Exactly. Ask clarifying questions like, I heard your view as, did I get that right? Show you want to understand.
And for the office know-it-all, any specific phrases?
The collection offers some good ones. I'd appreciate it if you'd respect. Or interruptions break. Or I'll address that when I'm done. Or even tell me more about where your insights are coming from. Redirects their energy.
It sounds like a lot of it comes down to managing your approach, since you can't always change them.
That's the core message. Focus on what you control. Your response, your communication.
Now, remote work. Building trust without being physically present, that adds a layer of difficulty.
It does. Lack of casual observation can make it harder to gauge intentions, values. But trust is fundamental.
Why is it so crucial?
It creates psychological safety, encourages open sharing, boosts productivity, makes people willing to take risks, innovate. It's the bedrock.
So how do we build it, especially remotely? The collection breaks it down.
Into three key things. Benevolence, show you care. Small gestures, helping out, shout-outs, genuine interest.
Okay, benevolence. What's next?
Integrity, show loyalty. Endorse the team, defend the vision, credit others, listen well, ask clarifying questions.
Benevolence, integrity. And the third.
Reliability, be consistent. Follow through, meet deadlines, communicate proactively about progress or problems. Be dependable.
Benevolence, integrity, reliability, BIR. Easy to remember. What about connecting with older colleagues? Sometimes there's a generational gap feeling.
Reframe it. See them as experienced peers, not just older. Their experience is valuable. You can even vet team age dynamics during interviews.
How do you actually connect, though? Strategies.
Create one-on-ones. Actively listen. Recognize different work styles. Ask for their advice. People usually like sharing expertise. Invest in advocates among them.
Okay. Now, workplace politics, the dreaded topic. Even charged conversations, like the will.im video example they used.
The key starting point there is listening. Genuinely listening. Open questions, how, what, why. Express interest. Summarize to check understanding. Build respect first.
And how do we navigate politics generally?
Reframe it again. Think of it less as manipulation, more as building relationships and influence, understanding the informal networks.
Evaluate your style against the environment. Minimally political, moderately, highly.
Yeah, understand the context. It's about relationship currency, influence, capital. You need to understand your network and invest in it strategically.
Okay, last relationship area. Office romance. What's the advice?
Be aware of the potential impact. Know the HR policy. Disclose if needed, if you're a manager dating a teammate. Huge need for clarity on merit, maybe third-party evaluations because of the power dynamic.
And if a work friendship turns romantic, is there a script?
Sort of. The collection suggests something like, I really value our friendship. I'm feeling something more. Things might change if we explore this. Open, honest.
And the awkward one, work friend becomes your boss.
Acknowledge the power shift explicitly. Have a conversation about boundaries. Accept your new role. Be consistent, fair, no favorites. Manage emotions. And maybe tighten up social media privacy. It's about respect for the new dynamic.
Phew, that's a lot on relationships. Incredibly helpful, though. Let's move to boundaries, priorities, and that elusive work-life balance.
Yes, the holy grail. The collection kicks off with stories of burnout, the Headspace CEO working relentlessly, Maya hitting rock bottom at her law firm.
Those stories really hit home. It shows balance isn't a luxury, it's survival sometimes. So is there a framework for finding it?
A 5-step cycle they suggest. First, pause and denormalize. Question the constant busyness culture.
Okay, stop and question. Second,
Pay attention to your emotions. They're often warning signs that things are out of whack.
listen to your gut.
Reprioritize your time. Consciously align it with your actual values and well-being needs.
Intentional reallocation. Fourth,
Implement the changes.
yeah,
Actually set the boundaries. Schedule the personal time.
E?
Do it.
make it real.
And fifth,
Integrate the new habits. Make them sustainable, part of your routine. It's a cycle. You'll revisit these steps.
and there's no right time to start this, right? Better early than when you're already burnt out.
Absolutely. Start now. The collection gives 4 ways to prioritize yourself without derailing your career.
Okay, lay them on me.
1. Say no when you lack bandwidth. Explain why. Offer alternatives. Ask to reprioritize with your manager. Use that data we talked about.
Got it. Say no strategically.
2. Schedule personal time. Put it in the calendar like a meeting. Protect it.
Treat yourself like a client. 3.
Take breaks. Real breaks throughout the day. Get up, walk around, disconnect for a few minutes.
Simple but effective. 4.
Acknowledge the extra challenge. If you're balancing work with a side hustle or school, it is harder. Be realistic.
So how do you manage time with those extra commitments? Accept the challenge first. Then, define your work time very clearly. Set success measures for that time. Schedule personal touch points, doctor, gym, family dinner, and dedicate specific calendar slots to the side hustle or school, like inviolable meetings.
Calendar is king, it sounds like. I liked that visualization exercise to imagine life changes drastically, what really matters.
Yeah, cuts through the noise, clarifies priorities. And the distinction between hard boundaries, non-negotiables, and soft boundaries, flexible goals is useful. Practice setting just one hard boundary to start.
Dan's story, the lawyer having an existential crisis when his career identity was shaken, that was powerful. The danger of tying all your identity to your job.
Hugely dangerous. The
Mm.
collection suggests reframing your career in terms of transferable skills that gives you more resilience if one role disappears.
Adaptability. Now, what can managers and companies do to actually encourage breaks?
Foster positive attitudes, talk about the benefits,
Hmm.
model the behavior leaders need to take breaks visibly, make breaks accessible, maybe quick wellness moments, posters, easy access to step outside.
The host's story about feeling low-grade languish in an easy but boring job was interesting, too. The friend's advice. Engagement generates energy.
Right, it connects to the idea of flocking in nature. Shared leadership reduces fatigue. Volunteer for things you care about. Fill leadership gaps. Distribute the load.
And when deciding what to commit to, weigh the cost-benefit against your biggest goals.
Exactly. Is this new committee really more important than finishing that key project or having dinner with your family? Be ruthless with your yes.
Gratitude practice also came up, noting what you're thankful for, expressing appreciation.
Small things, big impact. It boosts well-being, strengthens relationships, which buffer stress. Science backs it up.
Okay, let's dig deeper into burnout. It's not just being tired, right? It's more nuanced.
Very nuanced. The collection describes three main types. First, overload burnout, working harder, frantically, sacrificing health and life.
What's the fix for overload?
Set boundaries. Delegate ruthlessly. Reprioritize constantly. Take real breaks. Protect your non-work time fiercely.
Okay, overload. What's next?
Under-challenged burnout. Feeling stagnant, bored, unengaged. The work feels meaningless.
And the fix for that.
Job crafting. Actively look for ways to tweak your role to make it more engaging. Track when you're in flow. Propose changes. Seek skill development opportunities.
Makes sense. Fight boredom with engagement. And the third type?
Neglect burnout. Feeling helpless like nothing you do matters. Giving up. Learned helplessness almost.
It sounds tough. Strategies.
Seek support, talk to mentors, trusted colleagues, HR. Set small, achievable goals to rebuild momentum. Reframe tasks as learning opportunities. And get really good at saying no appropriately.
Kate Morris's story, Managing Adore Beauty Through the Pandemic and IPO, really highlights that extreme stress leaders face.
Intense pressure, yeah. And Ransom's practice of displaying supportive cards, a simple way to combat that internal negativity bias.
The host's email overload story, the lesson of living by your calendar, not your inbox, that resonated with me.
Me too. And the idea of calendar pockets aligned with your energy cycles, your ultradian rhythm, that's smart time management.
So, key time tips. Live by the calendar, prioritize long-term goals within it, build in buffer time.
Absolutely. And watch out for those non-promotable tasks, or NPTs. Research shows women especially spend more time on them.
Tasks that need doing but don't help you get ahead.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Evaluate the consequences before saying yes. Try to steer towards more valuable, visible assignments.
What about getting unstuck? When you hit a wall on a project.
Two cool ideas. Set a struggle timer. Work intensely for, say, 25 minutes before allowing a break or seeking help. And create stuck scripts, pre-planned alternative actions instead of defaulting to checking your phone.
Train your brain away from digital distractions.
Yeah.
Turn off notifications, schedule check-ins, make it inconvenient.
Yes. And finally, on this balance theme, empowering ourselves around mental health at work.
How do we do that?
Educate yourself, stress versus anxiety. Unlearn biases. Understand company policies. Be the investigator. Challenge outdated processes. Be the challenger. Foster transparent communication. Be the integrator. And advocate for yourself. Be the advocator.
It needs change at personal and leadership levels, starting with reducing stigma.
Exactly. And challenge assumptions about self-care. It's personal. Notice what drains you, what energizes you. Avoid all or nothing thinking.
What about the inner critic? That nagging voice?
Recognize it's not your authentic voice. Question its negative claims. Practice self-compassion intensely. Be kind to yourself.
Physical activity came up too. Even short bursts help.
Huge benefits. Physical energy, better mood, sharper focus. Even 20 minutes moderate intensity helps. The key is, some is way better than none.
And finally, vacations. Don't just leave them on the table.
Use them. Benefits are mental, creativity, perspective, physical, stress reduction, immune recovery, even spiritual, big picture reflection. Too much vacation time goes unused, contributing to burnout. Take the time off.
Okay, fantastic insights on balance. Let's move to our final area, experience, opportunity, and developing your career, pulling it all together.
Right. And it starts with understanding the interplay of values, passion, and purpose.
How do they connect?
Values are your non-negotiable foundation. Passion is what excites you. Purpose is your deeper why. They're all linked and guide your choices.
How do we define values practically?
List what matters most. Then explain what those words mean to you, personally. Not the dictionary definition. Your definition.
And purpose might mean prioritizing mission over short-term wins sometimes.
It might. Aligning with purpose isn't always the easiest or most lucrative path initially.
The collection talks about a career portfolio instead of a career path. What's that about?
It embraces diversity of skills and experiences. The host shared shifting interest every few years that used to be seen negatively.
But now it's more valued.
Increasingly, yes. People who can connect dots across different fields, think beyond silos, are in demand. Your portfolio narrative is how you pitch those connected skills.
What are the traps that hinder growth?
Ambition trap, always needing more. Expectation trap, living for others' approval. Busyness trap, confusing activity with impact. Recognizing them is the first step.
And crafting a unique selling statement, a USP.
Crucial. And it evolves. Keep refining it based on your skills and what employers need. Be proactive, seeking opportunities, internal projects, volunteering that align with your purpose and USP.
But evaluate roles carefully against your values, right? Just because it looks good doesn't mean it is good for you.
Exactly. And don't self-reject. Apply for jobs that excite you, even if you don't tick every single box.
How do we validate a job description better? Ask smarter interview questions.
Yes. Go deep. Ask about daily responsibilities, how success is measured, company culture specifics, handling mistakes, resolving conflict, diversity efforts, growth paths, turnover. Ask the hiring manager about their challenges and successes. Ask the team about their dynamics.
Keeping a lessons learned journal helps build confidence too.
Definitely. Documenting setbacks and how you overcame them is powerful proof of your resilience.
Getting clarity on stretch projects can be hard, especially for folks with less access to senior people. Any tips there?
Ask stakeholders direct questions. What's your role? What should we keep doing? What's harder than it needs to be? What's the history here? What are your fears? Your magic wand wish? Who else should I talk to?
And follow up on vague answers. Ask them to explain it simply.
Yes. Cut through the jargon. Pretend you need to explain it to your non-industry Aunt Mildred.
Building a personal career board of directors sounds useful. Mentors, sponsors, advisors.
A vital support system. Identify people based on their style, expertise, network depth, and maybe extras, like someone who gets neurodiversity or mental health challenges, if that's relevant for you.
How do you approach potential board members?
Be specific in your ask. Explain why them. Suggest a low-commitment, initial chat coffee, virtual call. Make it easy to say yes.
And nurturing mentor relationships.
Connect personally, not just about work. Send thank yous. Maintain contact. Offer your help too. Make it reciprocal.
Mentor versus sponsor the difference.
Mentors guide. Support. Sponsors advocate, open doors. Sponsorship can grow from mentorship, but it's more active advocacy.
Networking messages. How to make them effective.
Be specific. Give context, especially after a job loss. Warm it up first. Personalize it. Offer to reciprocate. And accept that rejection is normal. Don't take it personally.
What are good questions to ask when networking?
5 good ones. Their career path. Biggest challenges, successes. Advice for someone like you. What keeps them up at night professionally? What are they excited about? Aim to learn and connect humanly.
Network to learn, exchange expertise, and re-engage those weak ties, old colleagues.
Simple, direct messages often work well there. Just reconnecting.
Networking also sharpens communication, especially active listening.
Big time. Most people retain less than half of what they hear initially. Practice really listening.
When pushing for growth, align your ambitions with the teamwork mission.
Makes your case much stronger. Define your success. Maybe it's balance, creative work, not just climbing the ladder. Frame goals as mutual benefit.
Acknowledge development areas, but link them to how improving helps the organization.
Yes. And ask your boss about navigating the organization. Key influencers. Raising your profile.
If your manager offers options, take time to reflect, then propose a tangible plan.
Don't feel pressured to decide on the spot. Reflect, plan, follow up.
What questions help with big career decisions?
What are your feelings telling you? Red flags. What matters most? Values. What matters to loved ones?
And the regret minimization framework.
Look ahead. Would you regret trying and failing, or regret not trying more? The hedge fund example really drove that home.
Always have a backup plan, even a loose one, maybe time-bound.
Prudent, yes. Gives you a safety net. And before jumping ship, see if you can find the job you want within your current company.
Meet with your boss, ask for new responsibilities. Internal moves are often easier.
Often much easier. And think twice about grad school just because. Reasons not to go.
Learn cheap or free online. Learning by doing is crucial. Potential debt versus ROI.
Exactly. Employers often reskill anyway. The story of the leader refining her role proposal with her manager shows proactive internal development.
Keep learning via LinkedIn connections too.
Continuous learning is key. And finally, ditch the be indispensable idea. Valuable people adapt. Enhance the team's talent, not just hoard knowledge.
The host's Mumbai internship story, stepping outside comfort zones, the power of relationships, asking for help.
Great example. Even bad jobs teach you what you do want and build resilience.
So the final lesson, invest in those professional relationships. They make tough times bearable. And celebrate your own resilience.
Absolutely. You navigate more than you realize.
Wow. Okay, that was a seriously deep dive into the HBR Work Smart collection. I feel like we covered a ton.
We really did. But the core message, hopefully for everyone listening, is that you can navigate your career successfully. You can feel more fulfilled.
It comes down to self-awareness, being intentional, and just committing to continuous learning and growth.
Exactly. Being work smart, as the collection calls it, isn't about quick hacks. It's deeper. Understanding yourself, building connections, setting boundaries, pursuing opportunities strategically.
All while being authentically you.
That's the heart of it.
So here's a final thought for you, our listener, to maybe mull over this week, based on everything we talked about.
Yeah.
What's just one small, concrete step you could take, maybe to be a tiny bit more authentic at work, or strengthen one key relationship, or prioritize your well-being just a little bit better?
Just one small thing.
Yeah.
We really encourage you to keep exploring these ideas. Maybe even check out the HBR Work Smart collection yourself for more details.
Definitely worth a look. Thanks so much for joining us for this deep dive.
Thanks, everyone.